Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course. This is an introduction to a larger course called Self-Love Alchemy. This is a powerful time to really be expanding our self-love. And our course teacher today is Jen Cunnings. She is a sound alchemist, and she will share the vibrations of alchemy for all of us and teach us more about how we can really amplify self-love. Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, Loren. So happy to be here with you again. It's my favorite experience.
Yes, this is really interesting. You've got something that you call the 7 pillars of self-love. And this is going to be a larger, longer, more comprehensive course that will allow people to experience all of these pillars. But go ahead and talk about why this is so important now and what this work is really about.
Sure. Well, as you indicated, we're in such a transformative time right now. There's so much transition. I'm sure everyone can relate, a lot of intensity, a lot of kind of death, rebirth energy. And, we're all going through such massive changes. And I have just found that in energy healing and alchemy, in the transmutation of heaviness to light, or, fear to love. Love is our greatest alchemist. And so really, when we're looking at like everything that's coming up for us, like we might be having a glorious time and everything's going smooth, and then boom, somebody triggers us. And all of a sudden we're having, self-doubt or, questions about who we are and what we're here to do. And whatever it is that's coming up for us, there is opportunity for us to always look inside as to what is going on underneath the hood. And so I designed Self-Love Alchemy, alchemy being, of course, the transformation, and love being the key, ingredient to alchemy, to really look to see where are we not in alignment with our highest self, our authentic truth, which is love, right? So our true nature is love. And so I was, I've been teaching this course for about 5 years, and each year is different. And of course, it's different based on, who's coming in and what's happening in the field. And of course, we're in an entirely different vibrational reality than we were, when I taught this last year. And so I was really tuning into like what's coming up for people in the field right now. So I have a beautiful opportunity because, of course, I can see what's happening in me, and I can see what's happening in my clients. And I even have an opportunity to tune into the group, in terms of like who's listening to this now or later, to see what's happening. And what I'm just sensing for us is like, there's a lot of potential for us to really show up, like shine our lights the brightest we can be. So much like remembrance of why we came, what we're here to do, how we're here to be, what service work that is. And there's also a ton of limiting beliefs where we're holding ourselves back, like not good enough. So all that to say, like self-love alchemy is really about us having the awareness to ask ourselves, like, what's stopping me, right? What's stopping me from happiness? What's stopping me from changing this, horrific job or this, toxic relationship? What's holding me back from really being, who I'm here to be, and really to hold my space, myself, in so much love. And so it's not a hard, challenging thing to do this work. It just requires us to like pay attention and actually go inward. And that's what this is all about. And I'll share some of that today in terms of like, just some steps that, hey, when I'm not feeling aligned with my inner love, my inner joy, what do I do with that? How can I easily transmute that from here to here? How can I shift my reality? And so that's really like what birthed Self-Love Alchemy was my own inward journey to say, okay, there's some things that need attention here. And I had been doing energy healing work and that for many years, but it really just kind of helped me to hone in. And then the 7 pillars, as you mentioned, came in as a way to self-identify where we're not in alignment with love. So that was kind of full circle there.
Yes, I love that. Where we're not in alignment with love, that really helps define that phrase, in alignment. We hear that so much. Are we in alignment? Am I in alignment? But you said it so beautifully, in alignment with your true nature, which is love. And so anything that is not love, we have to go in deeply. So what do you do then? What are some of these processes that we do? Again, I love the fact that it's the awareness. The awareness is so much a part of the game. It's the biggest piece of the game. But then what do we do? Do we have a little pity party, which we like to call it, but then we alchemize that pity party? What's the process there?
Sure. And again, so simple, but step 1 is awareness. And the awareness includes not just like how I'm feeling, but also the awareness that like everything reflecting back to us is in our external environment is showing us where we're not in alignment with love. So again, if we have places in our lives that feel, incongruent or heavy or, my audience is a lot of empathic people pleasers. And so we notice where like, I'm not really being my true self because I'm so concerned about, how people are going to perceive me or judge me. Right. So really getting into like a deeper awareness, which is part of this process of not just this is happening to me, but this is happening for me. And once we really get that step and that level of awareness, then we can come back inside because we're not looking to solve our problems externally. Of course, things might need to shift on the external, but it always starts within. And so our next step, once we have that awareness, is to really commune and connect. And I can walk you guys through this in a little practice, to really commune and connect energetically with the density, right? With the emotion, with this person who cut me off the road and triggered me, or this thing that I want to do, but I just haven't done it. This book I want to write, but I haven't been able to actually get it started. This project that's been calling to me, this change I want to make, and whatever is causing discomfort in our lives, that's the place where we can begin. And we literally just need to sit with ourselves to begin to breathe with whatever that energy is, and have that pity party if needed, right? Have that big emotional release. But that's where love comes in. And that's where we can bring in the frequency, that alchemizing energy of love, to begin to transmute and clear this density from our bodies, from our cells, from our consciousness, from our DNA. And it really is that simple, because we are all, everybody listening, you are a super powerful energy healing person. You are a self-love alchemist. You have the capacity of transformation because you have infinite power, right? Because you're not separate from all that is. And so when we remember that infinite power that we have, when we really can, play and practice with the opportunity to transmute energy, Anybody can do it and everybody can do it. And this is what's so empowering about this kind of practice is it's wonderful to go to healers and of course still see clients, and I still go to healers myself, but also knowing that you have everything built in to do this for yourself. And that's what this program is about, in addition to the energy and the light language and the transmutative energy that we bring in, through these transmissions. But really the core is that you are walking away empowered with the tools, with the techniques and the practice, so that you feel like when I hit that trigger, when I'm hitting that space of limitation, when I'm in fear, when I'm in self-doubt, or I'm in self-judgment, I know what to do so that I can transmute that back to a higher frequency. And when we do that, because of course, probably everybody listening here is on, the ascension journey, right? When we are aware of the density that we're holding through the awareness practice and then the actual practice of alchemy, that creates so much space for us to just embody all these divine frequencies that are flooding in, right? That really helps us to activate, the crystalline, the rainbow, the diamond, all these frequencies that are available for us to really, awaken to our ascension state, to the higher vibration. But we can't do that if we're holding heaviness in our bodies, right? So it's a process, right? We're staying in a space of awareness. We're not spiritually bypassing, right? We're not putting affirmations over our wounds. We're actually addressing them, loving them, giving them freedom and space to be heard, alchemizing them, and then allowing a space for love to return, to come back in and to be, embodied, so we can be present with that. And to me, that's the process that we're all on. And I just find that it's helpful to have like a roadmap. That's really what this course is. It's like a guide map, and it's 7 weeks, which is kind of a long time, but it's really to, implement these habits and practices, so that it becomes natural. It becomes an easy thing that you're not just doing, once every couple weeks, but you're actually, it's a living mastery of alchemy. It's a living mastery of remembering that love is here, and I'm going to be an active participant of, uncovering where I'm not in alignment with love. And then I'm actually going to work with that so that I can keep returning back to love, returning back to love, and returning back to love. So
that is so beautiful, because we can sense that we will only get stronger at doing this. We will only get more efficient at doing this. And it will become more of a pattern for us, instead of the old pattern of, oh, this doesn't feel good, or, bypassing it or whatever. So it really is exquisite. And you also work with sound. There's something about the sound that helps elevate it as well. And your light language comes through and helps facilitate it, or we can make our own sounds as well. And that helps us transmute it. So to hear you lead us through something like that, again, gives us more tools of how we can do this with our own voice. And that's really beautiful. So it helps us help others too. It helps us influence others, because when we're solid within ourselves, other people are going to recognize that in our family, in our local social networks. People will see that, and it will have an effect, especially in these challenging times that are out there. People are going to be like, why is she so confident, or why has he got it? So that's beautiful. So the 7-week course, you've talked a little bit about it. We're going to do a little mini sound transmission with you as well, so we can connect to that authentic self and feel those energies within us. But I wanted to have you talk more about that course. Again, you've been doing this for some time, and it really is a wonderful container for people. It's a group setting that lets people expand their heart in a safety of this group facilitation. Share more with us about all the elements that we're going to cover in this course.
Sure, absolutely. And quickly before I do, it's funny that you said expand your heart, because as I mentioned before we hopped on, I just was in meditation before our time together and just tuning into the group. And the two things that popped up that were really kind of pinging me as far as what would be a barrier or a block that would need some alchemization were the heart and the root. And I wrote a couple notes down just as an example. And in the heart, I was just feeling where there was like this fear of really opening our hearts. Like we say we want love, but we're also kind of scared of it, right? So maybe you can think of a time where, somebody gave you a compliment or somebody tried to give you a hug when you were feeling, sad, and you were just like, oh, I can't receive that. It's just like too much. Like I remember looking at your background, interestingly, I was in Kauai last year and I was in a similar looking space, and there was just so much greenery, so much love, and the waterfalls. It was like almost overwhelming. Like I actually had to expand my space to receive it. And so I just it was funny about opening the heart, because I feel like that's really the key of this, is where we don't feel safe to be vulnerable. We don't feel safe to open our hearts. We don't feel like it's okay to have the depth of feeling that we have, or stressed or overwhelmed, or, we tend to, many of us go into avoidance of our feelings and we get distracted with stuff. And the reason I wanted to bring that up, because you mentioned it, is like, that's really part, the course is the course, but that's really part of what this is about, is in our time together, and it's our live interactive time together, there is a, sacred container that gets created, which enables us to drop some of the stuff, right? To drop the masks, to drop the places we feel like we have to kind of, put on this exterior. And so in that place where we get to drop in, that's where the magic happens. That's where the alchemy happens. Because if we're, hiding or pretending or covering ourselves up in any way, and, because it's scary to feel that deep sometimes, then we can't access, right? We can't get to those deeper layers. Those are the layers that are needing the love, right? Those are the layers that are needing the attention. So I say that because that's really such a core fundamental experience, is we're in this community. I might be guiding and leading, but I'm in it with everybody, right? I choose this course, as much for you as for me, because I get so much out of it, and it helps me to energize my practices. So we have this beautiful container where we do energy healing, we feel our emotions, we get to engage and talk. And each time we get together, we focus on what I call the pillar of self-love. The 7 pillars of self-love. And I'll just run through those quickly, but that really outlines the modules of the course. But as we go through each one of these pillars and modules, you're not just learning, you're experiencing, you are transmuting, you are healing, and you are also, understanding how this is going to work for you, for yourself, right? So here's the guide map. So the first pillar of self-love alchemy is connection. Because really, to me, that's the core wound of where we have separated from love, is where we don't feel connected to all. We don't feel connected to God, the universe. That is, to me, our deepest wound of abandonment, that deepest wound where we don't feel we can trust the universe. We can feel we're safe. We can feel we're supported, right? If our bank account has $5 in it, that's okay. Universe has my back, and I know all is well, because I'm a powerful creator and everything is happening to me, for me. The second pillar is perception. And this is kind of a twofold, because perception 1 is also the awareness of what are we saying to ourselves? What is that choo-choo train, that merry-go-round of 70,000 thoughts we have a day? How many of those thoughts are loving, right? And then the second part of that perception pillar is, what is this outer world showing me about me? This relationship, this job, this health concern, this outer environment, what is it reflecting back to me? So again, like each one of these pillars are a way to self-identify our blocks or barriers to love. And I can't believe I've taken this long to say my most favorite Rumi quote, because this is so foundational to this experience. and I hopefully I'll get it right, but Rumi stated, it's not our task to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers we've built against it. Like, I feel that's like, that's in my email. I probably said it a million times, even though I probably didn't get all the words correctly. That's really it. So these self pillars are a way for us to really have a framework to see, okay, where am I out of alignment with love? So we have connection, perception, and then we have authenticity. So authenticity, of course, is related to like where we have felt shut down, where we don't feel safe to be that full, pure, true expression of ourselves, where we've held ourselves back, right? Where we've adjusted how we communicate because we're really wanting to mirror or match or even control how people perceive us. So I work with a lot of people pleasers, right? Like, because I am one. And people pleasing is so deep in terms of like, we really tend to betray ourselves and we're not in full integrity with who we are at the truest because we're attached to how people perceive us. So we have connection, perception, authenticity, and then compassion, right? Compassion along with love. Again, the great alchemists. No matter what happens in your life, if you can hold a space of compassion for yourself or others, man, like you've done it, right? Like if we can take all judgment of self and others and replace it with compassion, can you imagine what world we would live in? But of course, like, why is this a barrier to self-love? Because we so often don't have compassion for ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. We're always, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. Oh, I want to go, rest or take a nap. Oh, but I should be, proving, trying, striving, always looking to seek some sort of external, acquisition or something, and so again, if we can have compassion for ourselves in all these ways that were so hard, like that's such a beautiful way to alchemize those energies. And then we have courage, because of course, like if we're holding ourselves back or we're scared about what people think, or we're not willing to take action, we're really not being the full, like trueness of us, right? And how we came to express, how we came to actualize, how we came to create and be of service. I can think of tons of ways in which I'm like, oh, I want to do that, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. That courage to take the risk, to make the choice, to make the decision. I had a client this morning who was looking at a new office space, and she was like, I want it. And I really want to do things that are like, some of the general public might not get. Right? Like I really get the woo woo, like do the transformative, powerful, energetic stuff in this space. But then I was thinking, well, what if they don't like it? Or what if, they don't get it? All these kind of self-doubt things. And I was like, all you need to know for this, does this feel good for you? Is this an alignment? That's your yes. That's your choice, right? That's the pillar of courage. I am going to be so courageous. I'm going to make this decision and choice, even if I don't know how it's going to work out. But I know it feels true for my heart, right? Even if I have 5 million fearful, doubtful thoughts swirling around. And then we have allowance, and allowance is really about that full opportunity for us to feel it all, right? As you say, what resists persists, right? So can we have the most allowance for everything we're experiencing? Can we, bring that compassion in to marry that allowance so that we can really feel the depth of our feelings? I read somewhere the other day that, every time we feel something, it melts the energy back to love. And so I was like, oh, if we could just be an allowance and feel, right? Then that feeling is that emotion, right? So then we get to melt it, right? And then we can fill it back up with love. And then lastly is presence, because of course, I think a lot of us, we have past trauma, past wounds, overwhelm, stress, and we disconnect, we disembody, right? We distract ourselves with whatever, the million different, you can distract yourself with your phone, with your TV, with shopping, drinking, millions of different ways we can distract ourselves. But what that really shows us is, where are we not, anchored and centered and feeling at home within. Where are we seeking to anchor a sense of comfort outside of ourselves, but really, is it ever fulfilling? Right. So those are the 7 pillars, and that's how we self-identify and begin to really, kind of keep going deeper underneath the hood. What else needs love? What else needs love? Where else can I commune with myself and bring that love in to really fully transform and transmute these energies back to light?
I love it. I really do. And as you were sharing those, it brings up the big program that, like you mentioned, so many light workers have, and that is people pleasing, or I think I can call it caring what other people think program. That's a big one. And it's like we're so done with it. And so moving into authenticity of this with integrity, because of the self-love, it naturally brings integrity. We know what to do, right? We know right from wrong. And so trusting that, trusting the love more than trusting the doubt is really key here. So this is powerful how you're going to facilitate this over these weekly sessions. Really wonderful, really, really fun. And again, I wanted to say that even if people aren't there live, if things are going on in their life, they can still tune into the recordings, and they're still in that sacred container. They're in the group energy, which amplifies in the recordings as well.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Yeah. Thanks for
Mhm.
bringing that up, because, most light workers probably understand energy works outside of time and space, but in addition to the live connection, sacred circle time together, there's a whole course, 7 weeks of content online that they receive each week. And so with that, there's light language activations, there's guided meditations, there's content, there's guided practices. And so the live time for us together is really to see like what's up in the field that we can support each other in the alchemization and guiding that. But then this 7-week material can be, explored over as much time as needed, and to really slowly incorporate, right, the practices and the habits that are going to really result in the changes. That's the reason why it's kind of spread out, because at the end of the day, and I know I can relate to this, how many courses have we taken, or like these really expansive weekends we've had and these webinars, and we're all inspired, and we start doing the stuff and we start making the changes, and then we're putting the practices in, and maybe like 2 weeks later we start to kind of fizzle out. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this the way it is is to really create a space of implementation so that this really can be taken beyond your knowing, beyond just your understanding, or even your experience while in the course, that really for you to take this and allow it to change how you interact with yourself, where you get to say, I want to spend every day in a self-love alchemy session with myself, right? I want to spend every moment of awareness. And, I might not have a time for a session that day, but I know the 5 times that I'm triggered that day, I know how to reframe and shift and transmute that experience in the moment, and maybe I need to go deeper later, but it's really so that this can be, impactful, right? Because we have to choose it, right? We do have to choose to say, this is what I'm going to do for myself, right? This is the self-love choice that I'm making to implement, even just 1 or 2 practices that you pick up in the course would make a huge difference. So.
Yes, thank you. It's really beautiful. And we thank you for offering this. Again, you've been doing it for some time, and the way that it's structured really does help one anchor it and stabilize the practice. That's really what it is. Stabilize. We hear that a lot. We will go and you'll get so elevated, but then you come back into our, well, what we could call our normal, or our life with our families and friends and things, and kind of get pulled out of it. But with the 7 weeks that you've got here, that stability, again, imagine what our lives will be like when we get through each of those 7 pillars and have that stabilized. That really is building a muscle for endurance for self-love. So thank you. This is really beautiful. And you're a beautiful teacher to hold that space because you work on this in your own life. And so time with you is really quite special to be in that vibration. And it's just wonderful. And we hope people look forward to this time together. Let's experience a little bit of the energies that you will share in each of these workshops as well. People may already know you, but it's just a beautiful presence, and we'd love to hear that.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm I'm feeling the heart, but I'll preface before we go into the energy, just to take a moment to reflect on, anything that's bothering you, right? Or any place in your life that feels heavy. I always joke with my students, like, hey, bring all your baggage. um, but as I'm talking and just kind of tuning into the field as a whole, I'm just feeling the heart is really what is wanting the most attention right now. But again, for you to trust what's coming up for you. So we can just ask to bring into the field whatever is in your whatever you're holding on to that might be available here right now, right now. Like we can do this right now to alchemize a density, an energy, a trapped emotion, a trauma, a wound back into a light, more loving frequency. So I'll just give you like a second to kind of reflect on that for yourself. I'm going to probably talk specific to the heart because that's really what's pinging me right now. And so what we'll do is we'll just drop in and I'll just do a brief guided meditation and just kind of walk you through how to begin to commune and connect with this. And I'll bring some light language in, perhaps some sound. Let me change my little thing here. To transmute that, right? And then what we'll probably also do is just bring in an activation to allow you a space of greater receptivity to bring in more of your divine, true soul loving essence. Because we'll create some space. So we'll create some space to do that, and then we'll bring in an activation for you to lighten up a little bit. So, sound good? Okay, feeling a lot of heart stuff. And when I say heart stuff, sorry, really quick. Anywhere you feel like it is not okay to feel or open your heart, anywhere vulnerability is really hard, anywhere you have fear of judgment of others, anywhere it's been hard for you to receive, anywhere you have a broken heart or unhealed wounds, we all do, right? Nobody that I've met anyway doesn't have some wounds in the heart. But those are some of the things that popped up when I was tuning in earlier. Okay, let me get a little water here because my mouth gets so dry when the energy starts moving. Okay, so let's all just drop our eyes and just beginning to take some nice, slow, deep breaths and bring in any practices that work for you to allow yourself to soften into a space of receptivity, into a space of softness. Just imagining a beautiful, sacred container of light coming in to surround you so that you are reminded you are held and loved in every moment. And it's okay to feel. It's okay to open our hearts to more love. That we are worth it, that it is in our inherent nature. Just allowing this light now to come in, surround you as you deepen your breath. And perhaps just an intention, a willingness to say to yourself, I am open to more love. I am open to healing my heart. And it is safe for me to feel the spaces where love wants to go. So we ask that whatever is here for you today, any baggage, any density, to begin to come into your awareness. I invite you to drop into the sensations of your body as we invite whatever is ready to be loved to rise up to the surface for us to make the connection. We can ask the consciousness of our body, show me where I'm holding lack of love. Show me where I'm holding pain. Show me the places within me that need love, that need my attention. By asking the consciousness of our bodies, and we can invite in our higher selves to oversee and guide and direct this experience so that we are simply opening up a pathway, a connection for us to feel, sense, see, or just know that we are holding on to a wound. We are holding on to a place that is needing our love. So whatever you're noticing, I want you to know it's perfect. Everybody communes and connects with these energies in different ways. Some of you might be more visual. Some of you might feel this in your body. I, for instance, feel a pressure in my heart right now. In whichever way you sense a connection, go with that. And all I would like for you to do is to begin to send love to that part of your body, to that image, to that sense. And imagine as you're sending that love, you're sending like a beam of light, a beam of source energy. And you're simply holding this space with softness, compassion, nurturance. And we can imagine this beam of source love beginning to kind of wrap this up like in a warm blanket. Just like cradling a baby, we're going to allow the light to penetrate in to any place that you are aware of that needs this light. And I'm going to bring in some of the light codes here while you continue to connect, commune, and you can even talk to this part of you. Maybe you have some comforting messages you want to share. So this is your journey with yourself. Just allow yourself to stay present and keep bringing in more love, more light. Rasuni hara rasani reso dorasane beshona vetara resel harena ariasanariete la harenare esal la harenara araki derekia. So it's just safe to allow light into these spaces. And you are held in a softness. So if there's any feelings that arise for you, allow yourself to feel. Ela raso torasana ma repetana haretana harekiatana araki. Ela raso noro rashanare satara reme tora hara arakianara kiatada ariana. Imagine the space, imagine the feelings, just being so comforted. So much light coming in. So much of your higher self lighting up, guiding you, holding you. all of your guides here, all of your angels, all of your team here now, as you open to create more space to receive the love flooding in for you. Ikora satara resatoro repetanere shetara sonorikiana. Iuresetana resotoro rashanerikara arementatora patanana arkitanariatatakia. So this is an invitation for you to acknowledge where any place you had to protect your heart, that was okay, that was you just surviving, just helping yourself to be okay, but that those walls of protection that once might have served you, they no longer need to be there, because love can transform them back into wholeness. Can you trust love over protection? Can you trust love over control? Can you trust love over any feeling you might be holding in your body that feels really scary to feel? So just imagine your heart space and your entire being beginning to open and expand. Allow yourself to get really spacious, imagining your energy field expanding, expanding, expanding. And we're going to allow even more of your divine energy through these codes to come in. Alara sotora hana karasa de la reina etania diana la reina la kiana la harakidania la ki. Rasotoro rasana marosotoro barasana etariana la karakina yetana kare itarikia. Ikonia sodoriana la hasana la etari etanara rasotoro krepetana la kietana. Just taking a moment as you remain in an expanded space to just anchor your energy into the earth, maybe even expanding beyond the edges of the earth. La resana yata ala resana arakiana eda yakia. Ela resana do resana rakiana na bara resana do kriatania na kiatarakia. So just reminding yourself here that self-love is your natural state of being. Love is the core of who you are. Love is your true essence. And would you be willing right now to commit to being more of the true loving nature that is you? A few more breaths into your heart. Let's just bring our energy all the way through our bodies. Allowing this flow to continue to move through us. And when you're ready, we will come on back and return. Open your eyes. Maybe giving yourself a little hug, giving your heart a little love. Thank you, Loren.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that mini session of healing with self-love. You know, that was so beautiful to be in those energies. It's our energy, and you took us there. And what I find just so remarkable is that, you know, when you had us go in and identify maybe a problem or an issue or something that's kind of tugging at our heart, it's uncanny because you picked up on it too. I realized that what was seemingly a problem that I was projecting out with someone else was actually reflecting a place within me that needs that self-love. That was so perfect. I mean, I got that. And so to bring that up, to let that be loved free, I have compassion for that person who triggered me. And so here we are, full circle with that process. And it really illustrated how we do that work. So there's a myriad of issues and things that can come up. So I can really see the value in doing this process in a group session, in a regular setting for 7 weeks. It really is going to be beautiful. And again, stabilizing the protocol of self-love, alchemy of self-love in our lives, because that feels so good. And now we're buoyant.
Because we're worth it, right?
Worth it.
And that's
Yeah.
the work, like you said, like that's it. It's really that simple. We just don't think to do it because it's so easier to like, oh, that person is being horrible and I'm justified, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they wronged me. I didn't do anything. But we're never a victim. That's what I love about this practice is there's no such thing. Like you are the creator of all. That's how powerful you are. And if you're creating this outside reality, you can certainly recreate it from the inside out, you know.
Yes. And so as we went so deep in there, this was a small little part of me, a wounded part, a wounded part. And so it was revealed. That was revealed. And again, it comes back to this awareness, the awareness now of that, because we've taken that little step and made that connection. The next time it comes up, it's going to be easier to move through. And again, I just want to say it's just that it's within us. It's like these wounds within us. I don't know if we can reiterate that enough, that it's all us. It's all, and you said the word victim. We don't need to be a victim to anyone else. But I was making myself the victim. This was a program that you helped arise within me and show me that I was creating a victim. It was a small part of me. And so that was really revealing. And it brings it all back to responsibility, us taking responsibility for what's inside us. So it's extremely liberating, this
Hmm.
power of self-love.
And I love that you really, had an example to share around that because I think our default, right? I know my default is to go into that projection or blame or making it about somebody other than myself. And so part of this practice is to say, oh, hey, like, don't forget, like, I've got this power, right? This is within me. Because I think, our auto default, man, that's running, right? That's really how the majority of, so many people operate. And of course, I know your community of light workers, have that awareness, but then it's like, okay, we need the constant reminder, right? And keep the muscles going, keep the practice happening so that our default, those neural pathways of like blame and victimization, they're no longer firing anymore. But just like anything, it takes some time to build that muscle, build those new neural pathways of like, oh, instant compassion, instant love, instant transmutation. And so it's just
Mhm.
really helpful to keep, right? Oh, I'm in blame, I'm in victim, I'm in, trigger. And I can shift this back to love, back to love, back to love. Just
Yes.
take some
I mean,
repetition.
and this goes across the board to everything, like what we read in the news,
Right.
or how we respond to the news, or what we think about this, or what we think about politics, what we think about the world. Again, that's all outside of us. And you're really helping us be aware of the reality that is us, our authentic self that is us. Again, it's so beautiful because I do imagine a world with no judgment, only compassion.
Right.
And so, wow, how
That's how we
cool is
change the
that?
world, right? Your new earth, right? That's how we're creating new earth is by step within ourselves. We're anchoring new earth within us every time we transmute density to light,
Yes.
period. Because if we keep reacting and responding to the news, to the patriarchal society, to judgment, to what, separation, we
Or
keep,
even watching the old collapse, like watching the old collapse. Don't watch it. Be self-love.
yeah, keep creating from your space of love. Keep creating. We don't need to keep reacting because that's playing itself out, right? If we're really here to do the light work and be the change makers and anchor in these higher frequencies, this is our practice.
Yes, and we have now anchored in those higher frequencies by that beautiful and powerful mini session, because on the flip side of it, when we clear out the baggage and sometimes bring all the baggage, but we don't even know what baggage is in there, right? I mean, we don't even know what's in that little tote bag over there. Cockroaches is in
That
that tote
basement.
bag. Open up that bag, clean it out. All right. Because there's no room on New Earth for that baggage. So when we're talking alchemy, we are taking the densest of our psyche, our programs, our feelings of less than, and we are transmuting them into self-love. How beautiful. I love this work. Thank you so much for this. It's really beautiful. And I wanted to say, your light language has changed.
Oh,
It's advanced, it's
oh,
expanded.
thank you. It
Yes.
does feel like it's been on a evolution. Yeah, I think it shifts. I mentioned after my little transmutative experience a few weeks ago, I think there's other changes unfolding. So
Yes. I mean, it's just fresh energy. It's almost like you mentioned earlier, this rebirth. We're doing that all the time, and we're birthing ourselves into new earth. So I invite everyone to please, if this resonates with your heart, if you felt the love in this, if you can see the value in this in your own life, you're invited to join in this beautiful program and imagine your life after the 7 weeks of this. Jen, is there anything else you want to share about the immersion of this course and anything else around that?
well, we kick off October 1st, and I think the first live calls October 3rd. And then each week you'll receive the new content module, and then each week we'll meet live. But in addition to that, I've also have a guidebook that I'll send out to really go through to highlight the pillars of self-love and questions for you to self-identify. And then there's also a light language transmutative activation track for each one of those pillars, in addition to all the other ones that are in the course. And then I've got several bonuses for the course. I've got a 12-day honoring sacred divinity series, which is like super high vibe, like,
Wow.
universal DNA activations.
Wow.
Too much detail. I've got my abundance blessing activation series, and I've got my the masterclass I just taught that I shared with your group last time, called Mastering the Art of Self-Healing, to really anchor in the self-healing practice, which we'll go over in the course, but just to really have like that extra, okay, let's really incorporate this. So there's bonuses and a lot of live time together. And this, hopefully people can figure out, like, I'm just me. I just show up. I think I'm a really powerful transmutator of energy, but I'm not, teaching from a pedestal. I'm doing my work. I'm here as a light worker to embody more love. Like, I'm in this with everybody. And so, like, there's no, I don't know, we're really easy in our time together. Like, I'm here to support the group and who shows up. It's interactive, where we get to, like, you get to be seen, you get to be heard, we get to work in the energy together. And I think the point I'm trying to make is just like, we're in this community together, and that's really like the fun part of it. So I don't know,
Yes.
I'm just trying to say, like, we're
It's
easy,
like,
we're fun, we're natural.
yeah, and it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming to be in groups like that. It's really so beautiful. And then connections that are made outside. I mean, it just feels so lovely. And to have it happen with people all around the world, of like-heartedness. It's just so beautiful. Again, I love these sessions together, and friendships are made and new connections are made. And that's why I really love to say that this portion of the internet is fifth dimensional, because it's bringing us together in these beautiful ways.
Yeah.
So perfect. And, there is an immediate download of the bonuses for people. So as we're waiting for the class, we can begin work today and accessing these beautiful bonuses that you've included. Abundance blessings with light language. I mean, how perfect is that? 8 transmissions that you have there. And then the 12-day course, honoring your sacred divinity. Beautiful. Again, it's all light language. So those bonuses are there as immediate downloads as we prepare for that course coming up. Really good. And I can feel people excited for this, feeling the love of their hearts. And there's no turning back once we go and we really feel and embody. This is really embodiment. And our DNA, because we're feeling this self-love, our DNA actually is changing. That's what activates this DNA. Dormant DNA, junk DNA, 12-stranded crystalline DNA. And it's really very special. So thank you. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Thanks, Loren. I really appreciate seeing you again and being with you and sharing this time and space. It's been super fun.
Yes, thank you. All right, as we say goodbye, I just want to give you final thoughts for everyone.
Well, like you said, if it feels like this is something that's in alignment with you, I would love to be the one to help facilitate this experience for you. I'm also open to answer any questions if anyone wants to email, of course, going through Loren. Again, this is just, it does require commitment. It does require you to say, like, I'm going to choose this for myself. I'm ready for the change. I don't want to operate in doubt or fear or lack or unworthiness anymore. And I'm willing to do what it takes to change the trajectory of my life if my what's happening for me isn't working for me. Like, this really can assist us, because it's not me doing it for you, right? I'm, again, showing you the way, but this is really for you to choose. There is more for me. Like, I am love, and I can create from that space. And, I'm willing to do the daily commitment. So that's my invitation. Yes.
Well, what a beautiful invitation. And we invite everyone watching and listening to check it out. You'll find the link right here on this webpage, or wherever you're watching this video. You'll see it in the description box. Again, we want to make this easy for you to invest in yourself with. So if you need this help, there's a 2-payment plan available as well. And again, everything's recorded, and this is comprehensive. Beautiful downloads that you can get immediate access to, and of course, all the course content. So thank you for this, Jen. You are a beautiful teacher, a beautiful facilitator, because you do this in your own life, and you're simply reinforcing everyone in their own capacity for self-love. And that's a beautiful planet that we are building together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Namaste. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Visit newearth1.com.